What the f***? Racing is absolutely a team sport. Even though you're on your own inside the helmet during a race, it took a whole team of people to get you on that circuit. Some people dedicate their life to racing, put blood, sweat and tears into it. So you feel a responsibility to do well, not just for yourself but for them too. That's why when it goes wrong, and I mean very wrong, you end up feeling like you let people down, not just yourself. And that's hard. That hurts. So after my podium in race 2, I was feeling very confident for race 3. After my racing incident with Rob, my car was out of alignment and needed fixing. So Liam, Matty and the whole team at TSR worked really hard to get it fixed in time. The angle grinder even made an appearance, so you know the situation was futile. But they did it. And how do you think I repaid them? By starting and finishing on the podium? Of course not. Overtaking both Higginson and Clarnell and getting my first race win? Or by doing the most embarrassing thing a racing driver could do? Surely not.
David Coulthard's gone off on the warm-up lap.
David Coulthard, for whatever reason, has blown his chances of winning the Italian Grand Prix before it even starts.
Absolute tragedy for Prost and Ferrari, of course, out of the car. He's not starting.
So we can see what happened as he was making his run. No, he just lost it under braking. Wow.
Just locked the rears. Completely locked up the rears. That is, cars to be fully rebuilt. New rear suspension, a whole bunch of new components.
Now he's out before the start of the race.
Everything was going so well. I was the king of Cadwell. Yeah, inside my own head. The whole weekend couldn't have gone better. My best quali ever, beating my teammate. P4 in the first race. P3, my first podium in F1000, and well placed to get another in this race. My progression over the last few months was insane. So of course I went and ruined it by making the most expensive and probably most embarrassing mistake of my entire life. I can't explain how awful I felt in that moment. Obviously I was in complete shock in the car, and by the time I got out of it and jumped over the barrier, it was quite funny. I got up to some of the spectators that were stood there and they were just kind of looking really awkwardly, kind of stunned in disbelief at what had just happened. I jokingly said, not ideal. No, but that's not ideal. Everyone was awkwardly silent, knowing exactly how awful I felt in that moment inside my helmet. I just don't think they knew what to say. Then the recovery truck arrived, and it was the same guy as last year, which was even more funny. My team couldn't believe it when they got back. They were asking what the hell happened, and I can't blame them. It was a mess. So let me explain what happened in my own words, and you can decide whether you're going to give me some sympathy or not. I don't really deserve it, to be fair. Now bear in mind the camera is a good 30 centimeters above my eye line. This is a really blind corner, the gooseneck. As you're going up and over it, obviously it's then downhill after it. I had left a fair bit of space in front. I was barely using 20% throttle, in third gear, low revs, just cruising through. Now I'm not experienced as the two in front of me. I was expecting to use the downhill as the last big braking opportunity to warm the brakes up. The rest of the track at this point was basically a flat and then pretty much mostly uphill over the mountain, so not really a good opportunity to get heat into the brakes and the core of the tyre and the core of the wheel. Well, that didn't happen. James stepped on the brakes pretty early on the way down the hill, which of course meant Matt did the same. I was then coming up behind Matt. Realizing that stamping on the brakes too much while still turning on the wheel wasn't gonna do any good and I'd probably crash. So I decided to aim for the left of him and probably just have to brake a little bit past him. Unfortunately for me, Matt decided to move to the left, which is when I just had to turn further left and completely bail out of this, and that's when I span onto the grass. Now I want to be super clear, neither Matt nor James did anything wrong. They have absolutely every right, being in P1 and 2, to do whatever they see fit in warming up their tyres. I should have really been more aware, predicted this, reacted better. It honestly feels like everything went wrong at once. It's extremely unlucky that Matt moved to the left, as I was about to brake kind of level with him. If he had chosen the right, nothing would have gone wrong. It's unfortunate he stopped that high on the hill, but again, something I should have predicted, or at least been able to react to in a faster manner. On the race day, even something similar happened, but we were bunched closer together and not going as fast. So what happens next, you might be wondering? Well, the stewards were not happy. They called it unsafe driving. They decided to administer the following punishments. I now have 3 penalty points on my race license. I also got a 5-place grid penalty for the next race at Silverstone. The racing budget is not looking healthy for next year.
I declare bankruptcy!
I reckon it did about 2 race weekends worth of damage, so it's not looking good. But of course, I accepted the punishments because I made a mistake, and that's what happens. The list of damages was fairly extensive, and I'm going to cover that in a different video. But first, I wanted to give a huge shout out and well done to James Clennell, who got his first win in F1000. Unfortunately, this was a metal barrier. I'm really frustrated because most of the other barriers on the circuit are covered by either foam or tyres, especially the one last year that I crashed into. Although there was significant damage, it really wasn't that bad, and we got it fixed within 4 hours, I think, and I was back out for the final race. Now I get it, just don't crash, you idiot. No one crashes in that spot. Wrong. Loads of people do. You can tell from the marks on the barrier. I've seen it with my own eyes. It's quite a common place to hit into a barrier there. And especially on the sim, that's one that I end up in frequently, because as you're going over the gooseneck, you're still turning left as you're coming out. And of course, you've got your right wheel that's going to dip onto the grass, and that tends to then send you that way. Even Higginson nearly did it earlier in one of the races. Even I nearly did it during a race as well. But it bent the chassis and ripped it open in one area. Yeah, it was bad. My advice, don't hit metal barriers, kids. The good news though is that it can be easily repaired. The Jedi F1000 is awesome. The manufacturer can take it back and repair pretty much anything. They're designed to race fast, be safe and reliable, but of course, they are expected to get smashed up every now and then. That's just racing. The fact that it could take a shunt like that at about 60 miles an hour, completely protect me with no damage whatsoever to myself, and then be repaired is pretty impressive. So I'm posting this video a month later after the crash, right as I'm going to Silverstone. So of course the car's back in action and ready to go. Hopefully it's going to be as quick as it has been in the last few races. Obviously my first test session will be about restoring her to her former glory, ensuring the setup is as we had it and there's no further issues following the crash. Hopefully to salvage my very tarnished reputation. Obviously this is so embarrassing and completely destroyed my budget for the season. Things were going so well. Multiple podiums and a lap record at Silverstone in the monoposto round. My first top 5 finish in F1000. My first podium in F1000. Qualifying Tom for the first time. I was on a roll. I spoke to my driver coach Matt, who said, don't worry about it. These things happen. He's binned it from pole on the formation lap before. Sorry, Matt. I know you said don't tell anyone. It's about how you react to that. It's about how you bounce back and forget about it happening and come back stronger. That's what makes a great racing driver. So Silverstone this weekend, I'm really excited. I have an opportunity to salvage my name. Yes, I've got a 5-place grid penalty, so I'll be starting further back, but it just gives me more cars to overtake for you, my viewers. I will be continuing my string of good performances, so I'm fully ready to send it. I won't be hanging around for that race start. I will be launching it and sending it up the inside of many of them into turn 1. So make sure you subscribe today to watch the comeback, or whether I further embarrass myself going forward. Thank you for joining me at Chapman's Corner, but I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.